honored elder.
What is the date?
It is the 35th and 69th year of the Jade Emperor.
It has only been 3 centuries, and I have yet to curry any sort of heavenly tribulation. Forgive me, Junior. But I must return to CULTivation.
Elder, please. You must see this.
Cutting off your senior? What are they teaching you brats these days? Ah, a scrying orb. I'm yet to see the problem.
Look for a moment longer, honored elder.
What is this?
This unworthy outer disciple humbly requests that honored elder searches for the truth behind this spiritual plane of scripture. Many in the outer sect have refused to ponder the awakens and grievances in favor of scrying this plane.
What?
The sect master still hasn't returned from aiding the oil princes against the climate crusaders. And the other elders are too busy managing his proceedings to spend time helping the outer sect. Please guide us. This little one begs of you.
If I must. Now leave me, girl, as I dissuade any more visitors while I'm scrying, old friend. Except for my accountant. Damnable Jade Emperor and his damnable tax collectors. What I would give to... Now, where should this endeavor begin? Ah, this elder cannot be bothered with working the scythe. I may as well take that youngster's suggestion. As expected, Junior May did proclaim that this one involves some unorthodox fairies. Like I, Saint of the Civic, would be discouraged by that fact. Open.
Headmistress Farragonda stood silently in her office, looking out the window, puzzled. Miss Griselda walked up behind her.
Rhonda, what does he bothering you? You haven't left your office all morning.
The headmistress of Althea College for Fairies just stood, looking out on the campus.
Art of Althea sends me a grave message this morning.
Miss Griselda, in confusion, put her hands on the headmistress's desk.
Impossible. The heart of Althea hasn't sent a message in 53 years.
Miss Farragonda sat back in her chair at her desk.
I don't quite understand the meaning of the message.
The darkness. The greatest evil is coming. But from these dark shadows a survivors from Earth will rise, stronger than the wings in the company of light. Everything will finally be in its rightful place. Not even the great dragon fire can scorch the chosen ones, but only united, they can defeat them. They can defeat them. Can they defeat them? How does it matter? The sun shined through the windows and hit the eyelids of our main characters. Last night, Miss Griselda had to argue with Cordelia about the sleeping arrangements. She yelled,
"Can't share a sleeping space with these Amish amateurs."
Hey, I've yet to see any other sect than the amicable Amish build a bond in under 5 breaths. Put some respect on their name, young lady.
The classroom was bright, and the desks were lined up in rows. Zinea disliked that Cordelia was in their class, but at the end of the day, she just had to learn to ignore her. Jezebel convinced the group to sit in the front, which is what they never did, but Cordelia sat in the middle. So, you know. A tiny yellowish elf man in green clothes hopped on a step stool and wrote his name on the board, introducing himself.
Good morning, students. I'm Professor Whizgiz, and this is Intro to Metamorphosis Symbiosis.
Professor Whizgiz takes off his hat and turns into an elephant that reaches the ceiling of the classroom. The students clap and cheer as the professor takes a bow as an elephant.
What a dangerous man! Transformation arts have been banned across the realm for a reason. The fact that he can still think rationally and not stampede into his students is a fact to be praised.
The chatter finally stopped with Daphne casting a spell to hit the magic gong. The students instantly felt serenity.
In my class, we will obviously be studying the history of many different magical worlds, events, people, spells, and objects like my magical gong here.
She continued.
This gong is from the ancient dynasties of Melody. It used to belong to the Jive family until it fell into the hands of the revolt. This gong has a charm on it. Whoever's in earshot of it will become instantly calm and relaxed. But if you hit it twice...
Reminds me of a spirit artifact I confiscated a couple decades back for improper use. The perpetrators used it to make all the girls go wild. They didn't account for all the clawing and mauling that came afterwards. To be young again.
Zenaya wanted to get those thoughts of accountability out of her head. Maybe she was pushing this topic too much.
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, we have a healing potion to recreate and write about.
Evelyn brought out the potion-making gear with a smile.
This is still better than math homework.
It's not like there's anything else to do besides study.
Sarah added. This made Zenaya want to share the information she had learned today.
Well, I hear there's a hero school somewhere around here.
If we found a tower to lock me in, then we could be having some actual fun.
Evelyn teased. Sarah badgered Evelyn forward.
That would only happen in your wildest Prince Charming-filled dreams.
Zenaya sprinkled an ingredient to a beaker.
Prince Charming? More like Lord Farquaad.
I do not understand this reference. May this Lord Farquaad be a character of lesser repute. I will consult the Sect's magic mirror in search of answers. Just need to wipe its surface clean afterwards, so the other elders will find my browsing history.
Ramp things up. The first pair to a duel was Lily and Catherine, who were both on the same level magically. But when it came to confidence, Catherine had the upper hand. Lily was a transfer. Just get to fighting already. Challengers, are you ready?
Yes, Miss Griselda!
Then begin! Griselda blew her magic whistle. The battle at first was slow, but sped up the more the two fairies interacted.
Dewdrop density!
Lily cast a drop of water.
It's a bad habit to pronounce one's attack out loud. If your opponent is skilled, they will react fast enough to counter efficiently. That's how one of my brothers in arms bit the dust. Poison Springfield Saint? Those were his last words. Who dares to interrupt this elder? Speak now.
Or forever remain silent.
Move on, you rogue. How did news of my resurgence reach your ear so quick?
It did not, but the Empire hears all. They are outside my all-province in shared pagoda as we speak.
You jest.
I wish that were true, brother. But you know I have 3 legs instead of 2, and the time we have to talk is short.
How?
The Sect of Eternal Revenue. Their divinators were alerted the moment you are capable of paying your taxes. I know you said it would blow over after a couple of centuries, but they are still looking. I hate them as much as anyone else, but you really should pay.
Never! The day they get my hard-earned spirit stones is the day I, Elder of the Sect of 1000 Grievances, submits to the heavens.
That day may be sooner than you imagine, brother. Stay vigilant.
Unnecessary. My thanks for the warning, but it's ill-advised for a master of my renown. Pathetic chi burners. I liked that melody tone as well. No matter. This plane is truly fascinating in the knowledge it contains. This society in particular seems to have confused chi with another magic phenomenon. Chosen fairies. How wonderfully rudimentary those are without the guiding hand of the Tao. Still, I wonder what other stories are buried in these archives. Maybe by searching for more of these pixies, I can find... Ah, yes, a story of struggle. Perhaps broken meridians? Time shall tell.
Queen Clarion was the first to speak as she gazed out at all the heads in the stands.
Now, I know this one's an unexpected surprise, but let's treat this new arrival with the same grace and well-mannered thoughts we always have.
Like when Crystal arrived!
One Sparrow Man laughed. Crystal, who was sitting a couple rows away, did her best to shield her embarrassment.
Yes.
Queen Clarion said calmly, taking a breath to avoid punching the guy.
Now then, let's watch.
She turned slightly, stepping back into one side so that she wasn't blocking anyone's view. Everyone watched as the resident dustkeeper sprinkled a pinch of that special dust on the dandelion seed. Everyone in the crowd murmured, remembering their own experiences of that historic moment with that oh-so-special yellow dust.
Special yellow dust indeed. A hit of phoenix ashes every month keeps the chi flowing and the mind in prime condition for face lapping. Now, if only the night terrors weren't so bad. Why?
See, I told you!
One Sparrow Man in the crowd laughed.
She's a freak! She'll never fit in!
Never?
Queen Clarion chirped.
Now, I wouldn't say that.
She paused.
If you'll just excuse me for a moment, I've got to go find her.
One should beware of nature's freaks, and not because they don't fit in. I once heard of a boy who was born with an abnormally large nose, and was banished from his noble family's estate. He returned 5 years later and slaughtered the entire familial line with a gold corn-fused kazoo. Freakishly strong, that one. Freakishly.
Tinkerbell piped up, making the crowd hush. They all watched in both amazement and awe as all the talents began to glow and sparkle about her head, and landed gently, forming a pyramid in the young fairy's arms.
Whoa! Did that really just happen?
A prodigal fairy of the heavens. I should have known. It leaves me green with envy to know that some were so fortuitous to be skilled in all areas at birth. Now, I should probably go see a doctor about that blood. These lungs are over 500 centuries old after all.
Fairy Mary, would you be willing to watch over Tinkerbell and supervise her as she handles this?
All right.
I'll be keeping Adelaide with me for the time being. That is, until this project is ready to be revealed to her.
Okay.
Fairy Mary replied, fluttering over to Tinkerbell. Approximately 24 hours later, the house was nearly constructed. It had the body of an acorn kettle, while the door was made out of a half-white and brown-spotted eggshell. The roof looked thatched, with big overlapping leaves.
Still not as quick as the amicable Amish. The house-building skills they possess are truly terrifying. To be able to construct an entire fortress during a heated conflict is the only example I need to point towards.
And with this, our sins are resolved. Laying flat on her back, in bed, she waited eagerly for the sun to rise, signaling that a new day has successfully begun. As soon as it happened, She hurriedly did everything at a blinding, mind-boggling, reality-shattering, Jenga-towering breakneck speed as she raced outside. Sadly, her joy of helping quickly turned to bitter disappointment as she quickly hugged her body. The crisp, cool air exploded as the autumn winds were soon replaced with snow and ice. A winter's headache, Adelaide thought bitterly. What happened to that wonderful spring air that I was born into? She growled once more, trudging through the high snow, determined to make it to the safety of the Dusk Keeper's office depot, where all would no doubt be there and waiting. There, it is said that's where Clean Clarion will assign the first training lesson, where she will first learn Mortal Kombat.
Oh, thank the heavens that I read this improperly the first time around, mentioning the sanctified name of the High Office Depot. Without proper clearance is worthy of capital execution by their inquisitors. Another day, I suppose.
Once the two reached the Dust Depot's entrance, Adelaide's eyes widened as Tink placed her tiny fingers onto the yellowish golden door handle.
Yeah, Wings.
Adelaide managed to choke out.
Yes.
No. Less and less of this has any cultivative relevance. An attempt at pondering the Tao of talent at best. What I need now is not talent, I need power. Do these pixies not give me power? What I'm searching for in this wild goose chases. The stupid Roman gaming can't even chill ball under Maya. What's this? Wow. You're so beautiful and ain't ya? I'm gonna clean you up, guys. This is nothing important, nothing crucial. That cannot be all of what this plane holds. There must be more. On to the next. How about spirit beasts that are magical hedgehogs? Fine.
Yo, I don't recognize this place.
The Zero Hero said, as he surveyed his surroundings.
Me neither. Think we should head back? Hang on, I see a light up ahead. Figure, get back here.
Shadow reluctantly followed after his over-curious rival. Sonic was right. A faint glow could be seen coming from inside an old cabin. The floorboards creaked as they climbed up the steps to the front door.
Think we should check it out?
Sonic whispered. Shadow rolled his eye.
No, someone probably lives here, and I'd rather not get reported for breaking and entering.
This talking hedgehog is looking at the situation all wrong. You only get reported for breaking and entering if there's anyone left to report it. Don't worry, young hog thing. Experience comes with age.
Well,
Amy sighed before regaining her normal, happy attitude.
thanks anyway. I'll find something, but if you do happen to find one, let me know.
Sonic gave her his signature thumbs and wink.
Sure thing. I'll be on the lookout on my next run. Oh, thank you.
Sonic Chew! She squealed and gave him a bone-crushing hug.
Ames can't breathe!
Ah, the legendary death by Snoo Snoo. Snuggle. What did you think I was alluding to? A man of culture must delve beyond deceiving appearances to truly appreciate what he sees. Okay, Junior Maymay has walked away. You all know what I was really talking about.
I'm not doing this alone!
He said with determination that surprised the Fae.
I was once forced to transform into something I didn't like either, and it helps to have someone that'll have your back. You need a place to crash at night and something to eat too. Let us help you until you get back to normal. After all, it's my fault too.
Shadow stared up at Sonic with a mild look of surprise. He was willing to help his greatest rival? Someone who we fought with every time they were together? Must be a hero's code or something, he mused. After a second thought, he nodded.
There is always the opportunity for one's greatest rival to become their greatest friend. Except if the rivalry involves winning the heart of the same maiden. If you're reading this now, you better keep running.
When the human looked back inside the tube, he gasped. Shadow remained hovering, where the thin vine with a single leaf had sprouted from the vein in his wrist and wrapped around his forearm as if it were a branch. The dark pixie looked down at the plant with wonder, dread, and fear. Something the doctor had never witnessed before.
What just happened to me?
He asked himself. And for the first time, he actually heard the little chime in his voice. He gripped his throat in surprise.
Is that really how I sound like?
He exclaimed in a voice just slightly an octave higher. And the bell rang frantically from within him. He waved his arm with the offending vine attached to it rapidly, as if it would shake off, but to no avail.
Those that delve into plant-focused cultivation eventually arrive at the same conclusion when fusing with their creations. Basking in the sun does feel pretty good. And that the blood of innocence also serves as an applicable replacement for water. Fusing with plants is punishable by death.
A few weeks later, Shadow smirked mischievously from his hiding place around the corner, peeking to watch as Commander Towers made his way to his private office. He waited quietly, doing his best not to give away his position. The dual-eyed human opened the door to his office, walked inside, not expecting the bucket of cold water to splash on top of him. Shadow instantly cupped a hand over his mouth to hold in his laughter, even though a few snickers escaped. He ducked his head around the corner to find his superior dripping wet and in the worst mood he had seen in a long time, and somehow found that hilarious.
An outer disciple in the sect also thought it would be funny to leave his seniors dripping wet as they exited their personal cultivation rooms. When they ambushed him in his home and left him in a leviathan-infested lake, it was funny until he had to be fished out. Piece by piece. Kids these days, am I right? Enough. There is just too much of it. All I need is more time and... the heavens roar! What is...
Elder, we are under attack. Masked figures are raining death upon the mountain. The inner sect is putting up some resistance, but they will not last for long.
Invaders attacking the sect? Such an insult will not go unpunished. Behind me. Now, let them see the might of 1,000 great.
Elder, what are you doing? Elder.